If this video found you today, it isn't random. Most people quit 1 inch before the door opens. Right before a raise lands, a promotion is offered, the client finally says yes, there's a surge. Not from the world, from inside. Sudden doubts, tight chest, a voice that whispers, what if I'm not ready? What if I mess this up? What if success ruins everything? You felt that spike before, haven't you? Here's the twist. That surge isn't proof you're failing. It's the alarm that you're close. This isn't your fault. Your brain labels the unknown as unsafe. Your body amplifies the warning, and if you don't know what it is, you bail. 1 inch from diamonds. Today, I'll show you why that last-minute sabotage happens and how a simple shift in your emotional frequency turns the siren into a green light. When you learn to steer your feelings, you steer your reality. Stay with me. The reveal isn't what you think. Most people think they're failing because they're lazy or broken or cursed. That voice in your head, that whisper of you're not good enough, you'll never make it, something's wrong with you, has been lying to you. The truth is harsher and kinder at the same time. It's not your fault. You were born into a system designed to overload you. A world of distractions, debts, deadlines, and invisible pressures that keep you from seeing how close you really are. Let me show you what I mean. Take Sarah, 35 years old, single mom in Ohio. She wakes up at 5:30 to get her kids dressed, rushes through traffic, and clocks into her supervisor shift. The bills pile up. Daycare, car insurance, credit card minimums. She finally gets offered a promotion, a chance to breathe, more money, slightly better hours, but the night before she's supposed to say yes, she can't sleep. Her chest tightens. The thoughts spiral. What if I can't handle it? What if I fail in front of my team? What if this ruins everything I've worked for? She convinces herself she isn't ready. She says no. And months later, she's still drowning in the same stress, wondering why nothing ever changes. Now picture Michael, a 42-year-old veteran in Texas. He left the military 10 years ago, tried warehouse work, then sales, then night shifts. He finally decides to retrain. Tech is booming. Maybe this is his way out. He studies hard, builds a portfolio, lines up an interview, but 2 days before the call, a memory resurfaces. The time he froze in front of a commander, the humiliation, the judgment. Suddenly, the interview feels impossible. His heart pounds, his palms sweat, and he ghosts the recruiter. Another chance slips through his fingers, and then there's Emily in Portland, 27, barista by day, artist by night. She starts selling custom prints online. Orders pick up 10, then 20, then 50 in a week. For the first time, she thinks, maybe this could be real. But the success terrifies her. An LLC, taxes, shipping logistics. What if I can't keep up? She delays shipments. Customers cancel. Reviews dip. She tells herself, see, I wasn't ready. Different lives. Same choke point. What's happening here? These people aren't weak. They aren't unmotivated. They aren't broken. They are colliding with an invisible enemy, a survival system that fires the alarm the moment life shifts too far outside the familiar. You see, your brain was not designed for prosperity. It was designed for safety. To your subconscious, the unknown equals unsafe. Even if the unknown is better, freer, wealthier, healthier, the fact that it's unfamiliar triggers resistance. That resistance feels like anxiety, doubt, guilt, shame. Not because you aren't ready, but because your nervous system is trying to pull you back into what it knows. This is why so many Americans self-sabotage right before breakthroughs. Not because they're failures, but because their biology interprets change as danger. But it doesn't end there. In the modern world, this enemy has been supercharged. Think about your daily environment. Your phone buzzes before you've even gotten out of bed. News alerts scream catastrophe. Social media parades other people's curated successes. Ads whisper that you're behind, you're lacking, you're missing out. Every second, your nervous system is on alert. Every scroll trains your brain to doubt itself more. Every notification fragments your focus. So when that critical moment comes, the job interview, the new business, the relationship talk, your system is already at redline. You don't just face your own doubts. You face an avalanche of cultural static designed to keep you distracted and compliant. This is not your fault. You didn't build this system. You were born into it. Let's be honest. Americans today are carrying weights their grandparents never knew. Student debt that follows you into your 40s. Healthcare bills that can bankrupt you overnight. 2-job households just to cover rent and groceries. Social comparison amplified 24/7 through feeds. Information overload, trying to make decisions with 100 conflicting voices screaming at once. No wonder you freeze. No wonder you hesitate. No wonder you feel stuck. It's not weakness, it's weight. But here's the cruelest twist. Because you don't know the truth, you blame yourself. You think, maybe I'm just lazy. Maybe I don't have what it takes. Maybe I'm cursed. Every missed opportunity feels like proof. Every failure writes the story deeper. And the more you believe that story, the more your subconscious accepts it as identity. You're not just someone who missed a chance. You're the kind of person who always misses chances. This is the prison. Not the failure itself, but the story of failure repeated until it feels permanent. But let me reveal something most people never hear. That surge of doubt, fear, guilt, or shame you feel right before an opportunity, that's not proof you're failing. It's proof you're close. The alarm gets loudest right before the door. The shadow flares strongest right before the breakthrough. The enemy isn't showing up because you're weak. It's showing up because you're near the edge of transformation. This changes everything. Think about it. How many businesses never started because the founder froze 1 inch before launch? How many careers never advanced because the interview was abandoned? How many relationships died before they began because someone ghosted rather than risk rejection? Our culture tells us those people lack discipline, drive, or talent. But what if the truth is simpler? What if they were just fighting biology without a map? So hear me clearly. This is not your fault. You didn't design your nervous system. You didn't build the distraction machine around you. And this is the turning point. It is your turn. Your turn to reclaim your focus. Your turn to rewrite the story. Your turn to realize that fear at the edge of breakthrough is not a stop sign. It's a signal. And once you understand this signal, once you know how to steer it, you'll never confuse alarm with destiny again. If you're watching this right now, you know exactly what I'm describing. The sleepless nights before a big decision. The racing heart before sending the application. The heavy voice whispering, not ready, not worthy, not now. You've been trained to see that as failure. I'm telling you, it's the proof you're close. Imagine what happens when you flip the script, when that fear becomes fuel, when that alarm becomes compass, when that surge becomes your green light. That's where we're going next. Because the real breakthrough isn't in silencing the voice. It's in learning the code to transform the feeling beneath it. In the next part, I'll show you how emotion, not thought, is the real driver of manifestation, and how the very feelings that once sabotaged you can become your greatest tools. But first, let this sink in. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not cursed. You are 1 inch away, and it's your turn. You've heard the saying, change your thoughts, change your life. But let's be brutally honest. How many thoughts run through your head every single day? Tens of thousands, random, messy, contradictory. You tell yourself, I'm strong. But 2 minutes later you whisper, I can't do this. You say, I believe. Then seconds later you mutter, "I'm not sure." Trying to fix your reality by chasing thoughts is like trying to organize a hurricane one leaf at a time. Impossible, exhausting. And it's why so many people give up on manifestation, affirmations, vision boards, all of it. Here's the revelation most people never hear. Your life is not being scripted by every passing thought. It's being scripted by the feeling underneath them. Think of your thoughts as actors on a stage, hundreds, even thousands, all shouting lines at once. But the spotlight, the background music, the mood of the entire play, it comes from one thing, the emotional state running underneath. If the emotion is fear, every line sounds tense. Even a hopeful thought gets drowned in dread. If the emotion is guilt, even your ambition feels poisoned. If the emotion is calm confidence, suddenly even messy thoughts find order. The universe doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your signal, and that signal is emotional. This is why two people can speak the same affirmation, "I am abundant," and get completely different results. One speaks it from fear, trying to convince themselves. The other speaks it from a place of calm alignment, and doors fly open. Now let's address the paradox you've lived with. Why do the worst feelings show up right before something great? You've seen it. The job interview you almost skipped because your chest locked up. The relationship you sabotaged because the vulnerability scared you. The business opportunity you let slide because doubt screamed too loud. It's not because you weren't ready. It's because your subconscious was firing the alarm. New territory, unknown risk. Fear flares not to punish you, but to test you. To ask, will you fold back into the old identity, or will you anchor a new one? The surge of panic, guilt, shame, or doubt you feel isn't a prophecy of failure. It's proof of proximity. The shadow grows loudest right before the door. Once you understand this, the entire game changes. Your emotions are not enemies, they are indicators, a navigation system. Think of a GPS. When you're on course, it's quiet. When you near a turn, it alerts. Sometimes it even yells. Your feelings work the same way. Calm and alignment mean you're flowing. But the surge of fear before action, that's not wrong. That's the GPS screaming, pay attention, you're at the edge of growth. This is the map most people never learn to read. Instead, they interpret the signal as stop, retreat, not safe. And so, they loop. Decade after decade, 1 inch away, walking away from the diamonds under their feet. Now let's take this deeper. Your nervous system was built for survival, not fulfillment. Its job is not to make you rich, loved, or enlightened. It's to keep you alive. So when you try something new, a new job, a new relationship, a new venture, your biology screams, this feels unsafe, even if it's exactly what you need. That's why your body floods with adrenaline before the big call. That's why your mind replays every failure before the interview. That's why you sabotage success as it arrives. It's not sabotage, it's survival instinct misfiring in the modern world. Here's the twist. You can't shut that system off, but you can recode it. Manifestation is not about memorizing thousands of affirmations. It's about learning to steer the one dominant feeling that broadcasts your reality. Imagine tuning a radio, static everywhere. You twist the dial. Suddenly, music comes through. Your feelings are that dial. When you shift from fear to calm, from doubt to grounded faith, the static clears. The universe can hear you, and reality reorganizes around that signal. This is why people with less talent, fewer connections, and fewer resources sometimes leap ahead. They aren't fighting thoughts, they've mastered the tone of their signal. Look at real life. John in Chicago. He'd bombed 3 job interviews in a row. Before the 4th, instead of cramming more notes, he sat in silence, slowed his breath, and pictured just one thing. Walking out smiling because he stayed calm. That was it. He got the job. Not because his answers were perfect, but because his energy was different. The interviewer felt it. Maria in Florida, her small cleaning business plateaued. She kept telling herself, "I'll never grow, I'm not a real entrepreneur." One night, instead of fighting the thought, she chose to sit with the feeling beneath it, exhaustion and fear. She breathed, shifted into gratitude for her first loyal clients, and went to bed calm. The next morning, an unexpected referral doubled her workload. She hadn't changed her entire business plan, she changed her state. Tyler in California, struggling with dating, haunted by rejection. He tried scripts, self-help books, endless strategies. Nothing worked. Then he realized, every date he carried tension, broadcasting, "I'll fail again." When he learned to walk into the room simply feeling grounded, playful, relaxed, the same jokes landed differently. A month later, he was in a relationship, different situations, same shift. The external world mirrored the internal frequency. Here's the liberation. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to think flawlessly. You don't need to silence every doubt. You need to command the feeling that drives the film of your life, and that's learnable, trainable, repeatable. The shadow surge, the panic before breakthrough, will still come. But instead of seeing it as failure, you'll see it as the signal, "I'm close." And you'll know exactly how to steer it. Let that sink in. The very thing you thought was stopping you, fear, doubt, guilt, shame, can become your compass. Once you learn to recode the emotional signal, you stop being a puppet of biology. You stop being hijacked by culture. You step into authorship of your own frequency. That is the new code of manifestation in the digital age, not fighting the noise of thousands of thoughts, but mastering the signal of one dominant feeling. And when you do, the universe doesn't just hear you, it answers. So here's the turning point. You're not broken. You're not failing. You've simply been broadcasting static. Now I'm going to show you the protocol, the practical way to recode your signal, to shift from panic to calm, from static to clarity, from shadow to compass, because the revelation is powerful. But the practice is what transforms everything, and in the next block I'll hand you the exact tools to do it. If this message is striking something inside you, pause for a second and realize this is not just another video. This is a mirror, a doorway. And I want you to do something powerful right now, not for me, but for you. First, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. Not because I need another number, but because you need a constant reminder that your signal matters, that you are not alone in this work. Every new video you receive is one more anchor pulling you back to clarity when the static tries to drown you again. Second, click the like button. Why? Because this simple act isn't just feedback to YouTube, it's a declaration. It tells your own mind, I choose this frequency, I choose this truth. It's a symbolic micro-action that reinforces the bigger shift you're here to make. And finally, drop a comment below. Don't just say great video. I want you to write one sentence. This is my turning point. That's it. Claim it. Publicly, cement it into reality. You'll be amazed how that tiny action, a comment, a like, a subscription, feels small but carries weight. Because when you interact, you're not just watching passively, you're stepping into authorship. You're telling the algorithm of the universe, send me more clarity, send me more breakthroughs. I'm ready. So go ahead, subscribe, like, comment your turning point, then come right back because the next part is where I hand you the actual tools to steer your feelings and rewrite the script of your reality. Here's the part most people miss. You've had the revelation. Thoughts are noise, feelings are signal, but knowing the code is not enough. You need the protocol, a set of practical moves you can apply in the messy, noisy, modern world. So let's break this down. These are the practical secrets, techniques to steer your feelings, reprogram your frequency, and finally align your life with the reality you've been trying to manifest. 1. Name the surge. Don't fear it. The moment your chest tightens, your breath shallows, your heart races, most people panic. They think, this means I'm not ready. But here's the first secret. Naming reduces threat. Psychologists call it affect labeling. Neuroscientists have shown that when you name an emotion, this is fear, this is guilt, this is shame, you instantly reduce its power over your system. So the next time the surge hits before a job interview, a client call, or even sending that application, stop and say out loud, this is just fear. It's my system firing because I'm close to change. The alarm goes from a monster to a message. 2. 90 seconds to reset your nervous system. Did you know the chemical life of an emotion in your body is only about 90 seconds, unless your mind feeds it? Here's the exercise. 4 breaths in, 6 breaths out, through the nose, visualizing the center of your chest. Do it for 90 seconds. Try it right now. You'll feel your body shift, shoulders drop, heart slows, brain fog clears. This is the fastest legal way to flip from panic to presence, and when you're present, your frequency stabilizes. 3. Microvisualization, the next inch, not the whole mountain. Most manifestation teachings tell you to imagine the dream house, the 7-figure business, the perfect relationship. But here's the trap. Your body rejects what feels too far away. It screams, impossible, and drags you back. Instead, practice microvisualization. Don't picture the whole empire. Picture the next inch. Sending one email with calm confidence. Shaking the interviewer's hand with a steady smile. Packing and shipping the first 5 orders on time. When you visualize the next inch, your nervous system says, I can do that. You bypass resistance and stack momentum. Inch by inch, you climb the mountain. 4. Anchor your why in the body. Words alone won't move you, but a felt sense will. Here's the exercise. Once a day, whisper the real reason you're doing this. Not the superficial stuff like money or success, but the deeper drive. I want evenings free with my kids. And I want my parents to stop worrying about bills. I want to feel proud when I look in the mirror. Close your eyes, breathe it in. Let yourself feel it for 10 seconds. That's enough to imprint the nervous system. Do this daily, and you begin to broadcast not just words, but a living frequency of purpose. 5. The 2-minute micro win. When you're frozen, stuck in doubt, overwhelmed, don't try to conquer the whole day. Set a 2-minute timer. Do one micro win that moves reality forward. Write the first sentence of the proposal. Draft the opening line of the email. Record one practice answer for the interview. Pack just one order, 2 minutes. That's it. What happens? Momentum ignites. The nervous system says, we're moving, we're safe. The emotion shifts from dread to action, and suddenly the static clears. 6. The environment. Hack your nervous system is porous. It absorbs from your environment. If your space is cluttered with noise, your signal gets hijacked. So here's the hack. Arrange your arena. Put your phone in another room for the next 30 minutes. Use noise-canceling headphones if you're in chaos. Light a candle, play instrumental music, or step outside for 3 breaths. These micro-environmental shifts are not decoration. They are leverage, because when your environment calms, your emotions follow, and your signal strengthens. 7. Selective exposure to people. This one is brutal but necessary. Not everyone gets a vote at your turning points. If you announce your plans to the wrong crowd, the be careful chorus, you'll collapse under their fear. Instead, choose 2 or 3 stabilizers in your life. The friend who says, you've got this. The spouse who asks, what's the next inch? The colleague who believes before you do. Your frequency is contagious. Protect it. 8. Nightly end cap. Install the new identity every night before bed. Take 2 minutes to write 3 lines. 1. One action I took today, the inch I moved. 2. One emotion I steered: panic, calm, doubt, grounded. 3. 1 inch for tomorrow. Reading your own handwriting the next morning reinforces, I am someone who moves, even when fear rises. This is identity work disguised as journaling. And identity always outlasts intention. Let's apply this protocol to real American struggles. Job promotion nerves, you're offered a supervisor role. Fear spikes. Name it, this is fear. Breathe 90 seconds, visualize shaking your boss's hand calmly, anchor why, better life for my kids, and commit to 1 micro-win. Write down 3 questions to ask in the meeting. Side business growth, orders double overnight. Panic screams, you're not ready. I said environment hack, quiet workspace, micro-visualization, ship just 5 today, nightly end cap, record the win. Dating and vulnerability, you freeze before sending that message. Name it, breathe, visualize just 1 line typed, anchor why, I want connection, hit send. Micro-win accomplished. Health and fitness commitment. You've quit diets 20 times. This time, anchor why. I want to live to see my grandkids graduate. Micro-win, cook 1 clean meal. Nightly end cap, record the win. The principle is universal. Emotions are not enemies. They are signals. You don't fight them, you steer them. Science backs this up. Affect labeling calms the amygdala. Breathing patterns regulate vagus nerve response. Small wins release dopamine, creating momentum loops. Identity scripts reprogram subconscious expectations. But beyond the science, here's the magic. When you shift your feeling, you shift your frequency. And when you shift your frequency, reality reorganizes around you. This is what the old manifestation teachers missed. It's not about repeating phrases until you're blue in the face. It's not about pretending your doubts don't exist. It's about using the surge itself, the fear, the shame, the doubt, as a compass. About steering the emotional state that fuels the signal you send into the universe. Once you master this, the static clears. Synchronicities appear. Opportunities you used to miss suddenly stand out. People treat you differently, not because the world changed, but because your signal did. So let me ask you, what if every surge of fear, every wave of doubt, every voice that once paralyzed you, became your green light instead of your stop sign? That's the power of these practical secrets. And in the final part, I'll show you the ultimate call to awakening. The invitation to step fully into authorship of your life, never again confusing alarm with destiny. Because the world is waiting. The only question is, will you answer? If you've made it this far, something inside you is awake. Most people click away when things get uncomfortable. Most people distract themselves before the truth lands. But you're still here. That tells me something. You're ready. Ready to stop running from yourself. Ready to stop mistaking alarms for destiny. Ready to claim authorship of your life. And this is where the path splits. On one side, the familiar road. The static, the doubt, the endless loop of almost starts and almost breakthroughs. The safe misery of knowing you're capable of more, but never quite touching it. If you choose that road, nothing changes. Tomorrow looks just like yesterday. On the other side, the road of awakening. The road where fear becomes compass, where doubt becomes signal, where your feelings stop being enemies and start being allies. The road where you step forward, even with your heart racing, because you finally understand. Racing means you're close. And here's the truth. No one can walk that road for you. Not me, not your boss, not your partner, not your friends. Only you can choose. But I will tell you this, the first step is never as hard as it feels. The fear is loud, but the ground is solid. 1 inch forward and the static begins to clear. 1 inch forward and the old story starts to crumble. 1 inch forward, and the universe finally has a signal it can amplify. Maybe you've been carrying the weight of debts, failed attempts, broken promises to yourself. Maybe you've been haunted by the story that you're not consistent, not disciplined, not lucky. Let me shatter that lie once and for all. You are not broken. You are not cursed. You are not late. You are 1 inch away. That inch might be sending the email. It might be saying yes to the opportunity. It might be commenting below, "This is my turning point." It might be subscribing right now, so every future message pulls you back on track when distraction tries to hijack you again. The point is not the size of the step. The point is the signal you send when you take it. You see, awakening is not a lightning bolt from the sky. It's not a guru descending to hand you the keys. Awakening is a choice, a whisper, a line in the sand where you say, "I am done being the victim of my biology. I'm done being the puppet of distraction. I'm done waiting for permission." It's the moment you declare, even if it's trembling, even if it's shaky, "This is my life, and I will live it awake." And let me leave you with this. Awakening is not just about you. When you step into authorship of your life, you give silent permission to everyone around you to do the same. Your kids, your friends, your partner, your co-workers. They may never say it out loud, but they will feel the shift. Because when one person chooses clarity over static, presence over distraction, creation over fear, it ripples, it spreads, it changes the room, and the world is starving for that, starving for people who are not just surviving, but awake. So here we are. The door is in front of you. One road leads back into the loop. The other road leads into awakening, and the only difference between the two is 1 inch. Take it now. Subscribe, comment, like. Anchor your awakening, then go live it. Because the universe is listening, and it's waiting for your signal.